I am TarotOracle, and this is the top 10 confusing tarot cards that you need to deal with eventually. And it's time to deal with them now. This is the top 10 confusing tarot. First one is obviously the High Priestess. Now the biggest complaint here is the sheer amount of definitions for this card. It never ends. There is a mountain of definitions. It seems like each book you open, you have a completely different or, if not unusual, definition sometimes that you run into for this pretty lady. But let's go with the Rider-Waite himself. Wisdom, science, silence, mystery, and secrets. Now, what are we talking about with wisdom and science? The first two words here. Now, you'll notice she's holding the Torah. The Torah is, obviously, as you can see on the screen, has a range of meanings. So basically, knowledge, right? The first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, the written Torah, etc., etc. This is, some information, knowledge. This is wisdom. She holds the Torah open, and it has a lot of information there, and she possesses this knowledge. So it is about having knowledge and the wisdom in order to use that knowledge as well. Knowledge just doesn't require book memorization. It requires the wisdom to put it all together. You're also looking at science as well. So in its addition to having the knowledge and having the wisdom, we have the science, which can bring it all together, and we can use that for our own benefit or for the benefit of others as well. So that's the first thing that we're looking at is the Torah. Now, we also have silence, mystery, and secrets. Now, this goes back to the Pope Joan story, which is sometimes said as fact, sometimes it's not documented enough to where you can prove it, etc. But let's just go with it for now. So Pope Joan, obviously, is a person who disguised themselves as a man, a lady disguised themselves as a man to get into the popehood, if that's a word. And she was a talented and learned woman who disguised herself and, often at the behest of a lover. So it didn't end well for Pope Joan, but there is that silence, the mystery, and the secrets that go along with this tale. So if you're looking for the latter 3 definitions, that's kind of where we're at with Pope Joan. So there's a High Priestess, sort of a roundabout. Obviously, the High Priestess also means intuition. Reversed, it could be revealing the secrets. It could be between the 2 pillars, have meanings as well. It could be the veil that is behind her. Again, there are 1,000 meanings for the High Priestess. We just sort of wrapped them up in the ones that Waite used. Let's go to strength. Strength is power, energy, action, courage, and complete success. Again, sticking with the Waite. And you can see a beautiful lady with the lemniscate over her head, sort of decorated in plants, opening the lion's mouth. It just has a nice feel to it, that's sort of taming the lion and whatnot. Let's look at some of the definitions here. So, power, energy, action, courage, and complete success. As far as courage goes, you did have the people and the circus or the performers, like over here, which would tame the lion. And they would hold the lion's mouth open, similar to sort of what she's doing here, but she's doing a little more gently, and the lion looks a little bit better expression than this lion over here. But you did have the lion tamers as far as that went. Very circus-like, Siegfried and Roy type thing. But yeah, the courage to do that, the courage and the complete success of that, the action of that. And you also have, obviously, the Wizard of Oz getting the courage or losing the courage and trying to retrieve it again of the lion in the story. Now let's look at the power, energy, and action, which is Leo. Leo is obviously the sign associated with strength, as per having the lion there. And Leo is a very powerful, energetic, and action-oriented sign. Leo has the Leo mane, which is the long mane that some of Leo's people have with their hair is just way extended. very luscious head of hair, the Leo mane as it's called. And they have a lot of power. They have a lot of sort of action. They're very focused on how they appear and whatnot. You have a lot of these energy things going on with Leo. So strength, again, the power, energy, action could be associated with the Leo lion. Now let's look at temperance. Economy, moderation, frugality, patience, balance, management, accommodation. Another card that just seems to have way too many definitions. It seems to be all over the place. We have the lady, the angel, is pouring water from one cup into the next with a finely balanced motion. Have an interesting that you have bushes on the right side, but nothing on the left. And then you have the balance between the two worlds of outside of the water and within the water, sort of between the rocks and whatnot. So it's a very balanced act, as well as the two forces between the wings. Now, let's look at balance and management. So obviously balancing things, again, you see the balance between, you have foliage here, but none here. You have a foot outside, you have a foot inside. You have a cup that's up, you have a cup that's down, you have a wing that's fire, you have a wing that is ice. So you have this nice balance in this dichotomy between the two sides, and the entire picture is nothing but one side being different than the other side. As well as you have the economy, moderation, frugality, and patience required for the long pour at the bar, right? The long pour. You see this with magicians as well. You have the long card spring that'll go from one arm all the way across the room to the other arm. And you sort of have that here with the long pour type feeling from the bar incorporated into temperance itself. So this is moderation, frugality, patience, skill that is required with the long pours. Let's look at some others. The 2, 3 of Wands, we'll count them as one. All we have is somebody over here looking at a globe, looking out amongst the land. Somebody over here, you don't know if they have a globe or not. You can't see it, but they are looking out amongst the land as well. What's the difference? Well, as far as numerology is concerned, duality, balance, and decisions go hand in hand with the 2. But creation, planning, and consultation go with the 3. Sort of interesting that we have dominion on the 2. Dominion is sort of having this land owned, looking out across the land that we own, looking at the world, making bigger plans, bigger paths, right? That's sort of where choosing your future path belongs. We need to decide now what the future is. We have conquered this land. We own this land out here. We're looking at the globe to figure out what land that we can conquer or take over next. But the 2 of Wands is about those decisions. It is about that duality, right? And dominion is sort of owning all of this and having this as your own. Leadership, taking charge, decisive action, choosing your future path. It fits. The leadership because we own this land out here. Taking charge, we are in charge. We're high up on a pedestal, maybe in a castle, and everybody else is low down there, and they are living in their houses and homes. Then we look over at the 3. We have early success, accomplishment, planning, teamwork, and expansion. So this is a big planning card. Both of them seem to be planning card. This one's more of a planning the future and planning a location, whereas this one is sort of trying to scout out what's next. We are expanding here, and the expansion goes with the creation. That planning consultation, again, goes from the numerology, goes with the planning from the card. And again, this is early success. We have a level of success. We need to go figure out where we're going to go in this massive ocean next, and that is going to be where the 2 and the 3 wands part ways. Now, the 9 of Wands is interesting, right? Great strength, wounded warrior, vigilance, resilience, courage, ability to persevere. But why are you a 9? Why are you a 9? 9 is achievement, climax, completion, and fulfillment. Like, what's going on here that is a completion? It looks like they're taking a little break. And they're injured, obviously, from the bandage on the head. Achievement, I don't see achievement. I don't see climax. This seems the climax is done. We're at the end. So how does this 9 and the Nine of Wands sort of coalesce together? Well, one of the big things that you see within this card is leaning on an object. And you'll see this Nubian warrior over here. You'll see this over sort of this Roman drawing over here. A lot of warriors are just leaning on things. They're leaning, you see this across in art as well. You know, leaning on a sword, leaning on their staff, leaning on a shield, sort of taking a break. And that's where you see here, we're taking a break. So we're ready for what's next, or we're sort of, prepared for the completion or the end. But the ability to persevere sort of has that same feel as the Nubian warrior or the Roman type of drawing. Again, wounded warrior, but we have the resilience and the vigilance and the courage to keep going. We haven't given up. We're not sitting down. We're leaning because we are tired, but we're ready for the next round. And you'll see this with the end of movies, right? With that 9. At the very end of the movie, we have the wounded warrior. They're wounded, and they're sort of using this person as a lean. They're using this person to lean on, but they've finished the climax. They have fulfilled their accomplishments, and they won. They are victorious. So that achievement is there as well. Again, you see this at the end of a lot of movies. Boxing movies, martial art movies, where you just have this injured warrior at the very end. And that's sort of where the 9 in the Nine of Wands comes in. So let's look at the Two of Swords. You really kind of look at it like, what's going on here? We have crossed swords, we have blindfold, we have somebody sitting down. What's happening? It is an impasse, torn between two different things: stalemate, blinded to the truth, restoring harmony, and negotiation. So how does all this blend in with this lady just sort of sitting there on a stone bench? The crossed swords has been around a long time. It's sort of, it brings your attention on several occasions. It's your subconscious reminding you of the dual nature of your mind. So you have that duality, that impasse, that torn between two options, the stalemate, that duality between the crossed swords. So it's sort of a warning about thinking, acting, and the duality between that. And you also see sort of with the blindfold, restoring harmony, negotiation. You'll see a blindfold on justice as well, because justice is blind. Justice is blind. We can restore harmony, but we're going to have to ignore some of the facts. We're going to have to just put aside some things and hope for the best. We can negotiate, but we're going to have to do it blinded so that we are not impartial, or so we are impartial and we don't favor one side or the next. So that's basically, in my opinion, where the Two of Swords comes in and why all of the symbolism is there. Then we have the Five of Swords, Lord of Defeat, loss, hollow victory, defeat, being a conceded winner, failure in love or work. I know a lot of people have a question of, are we this guy or are we these guys? I mean, did we lose or did we win? And that's sort of one of the things when you first pick up a tarot deck, you're like, hey, which one am I? I don't think you're either one. I think it encompasses both. Again, if you have a loss, you are these. If you have a hollow victory, you are this person. Defeat, you are these. Being a conceded winner, you are this guy. Failure in love and work, you are these. So I think it goes back and forth. I think you have roles for both people. And you'll see this sort of gathering of the weapons in world war or the spoils of war. You'll see people gathering weapons and loot. The paintings that were there that are valuable, anything of value, people, the spoils of war, you will gather up and take. You'll see that with many, many graphical pictures from throughout history and wars. You'll even see like older times where you'll basically take people, women, children. They usually just killed off the dudes and took everybody else. But yeah, there's the spoils of war feel from this, especially this person is taking what he can. He's taking the spoils of war. He won, and he's letting everybody else go. So it just have that conceited feel in there. And that's sort of where hollow victory comes in as well. Even though you did become victorious, will you be victorious tomorrow? You know what I mean? A lot of armies will come in with a small force and take over a city or whatever. And then a couple of days later, they'll get reinforcements and they'll take it back. So, hollow victory. How good is this victory in the long run? Oh, now we have the Lord of Illusionary Success. There's just too many options. Wishful thinking, imagination, and addictions. So you have the illusion of the illusionary success, and then you have the wishful thinking of the success part. In other words, it could have been successful, but maybe it's not. Maybe we're seeing things. So how does this work? Well, it's sort of like a idea board where you have all these ideas that you're putting in, right? I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you can't do all of them. You have to pick. And that's part of the definition of the card. You have to pick something. You have to do something. You can have all of these grand ideas. You can have all of these goals. You can have all these aspirations, but you need to do something. Otherwise, you think you're successful. You're just not. You have, again, grand ideas, but you never implement any of them. Are you really successful? Not really. The addiction part as well in the next thing. You have imagination and addictions. Sort of these illusions that are there. What is right side up is now upside down. What is left is right. And everything blends into this myriad of illusions and things that you just don't understand. Just too many options. And the addiction, the imagination is sort of there. So when you see the Seven of Cups, think of illusionary success. How realistic is your success? Is it something that you have some awesome ideas and everybody's like, yay, awesome ideas, but you never do any of them? You need to look and think about how that goes. All right. Now we have the Nine of Cups. Hopes and dreams come true. Good luck, abundance, having it all. Material happiness is an interesting thing here as well. This is on the wrong slide. This is for addictions for the previous one. Ignore this. Anyway, hopes and dreams, having it all, good luck, and all of that stuff. Where does this sort of come from? Well, when you have a banquet, a big celebration, and you'll see this, a big celebration. Let's have food, drink. Let's have all of our friends over. And that's sort of where we're at here. We have a banquet set up back here with just drinks. Let's all celebrate. Let's get all of our friends and celebrate, and everybody will have a good time. So that is, obviously it is material happiness. Everything went well. But it's also about sharing that happiness with other people, isn't it? We can share that happiness. We can share these good things with other people. And that's what this is about. We have that success, but it's all about gathering friends up. So we're waiting for friends to show up. We are sort of closed body language here, which could indicate we all want it all for ourselves as well. So there's a lot of nuances within this card that you sort of have to look at. But just remember that this is a banquet. We have other people coming over, or do we having it ourselves, like the Four of Coins, where we're just having it all to ourselves? It's up to you to decide. Then we got a couple of working cards as well, don't we? A couple of working cards as well. And this is our last slide. We have the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. And you're kind of confused with these. You're like, which one is which? They're both working. What's the difference, right? On the left side, we have creativity, collaboration, skill and artistry, and recognition. Now, there's some keywords really pop out from here. One is creativity. Creativity is the ability to do things that we want to do and to expand and to be creative and do things differently and introduce our own ideas and make everything a little bit better with our own ideas, right? You have a lot of this sort of right here. And this creativity is allowed over here. That's sort of why I have the artistry, have the art supplies down here in my deck. Now on the right, you don't have any creativity. You're just cranking out coins. You're cranking out pentacles, right? You got 7 down. You're on number 8. You're cranking it out. You're hammering it out. And that's a distinct difference, isn't it? Isn't it a distinct difference? It's more like a factory work over here. Whereas this, I get to choose what I'm doing. I get to express myself a little more. And over here, you have collaboration. These people are handing him a specifications. In other words, I want it done this way. Here's my contract. I need it done this specific manner. You don't have that over here. You don't need specifications. He's cranking out the same coin over and over and over. There's no specifications involved. Over here, you have specifications. In other words, you have a collaboration. So that's the big difference here, this collaboration. And again, recognition. We have people that are loving his work over here. You don't got anybody over here appreciating a jack. So that's going to be a different story, isn't it? Over here, there's less appreciation. There's more of a factory work. There's less artistry. There's no collaboration. You're just working. You're just head down, working, getting it done. Now over here on the right, there's training. And what does that mean? That means that we're doing the same thing over and over to get some training and to get some mastery. Because we don't need mastery over here. We're sort of getting the artistry point. Over here, we're getting mastery by doing it over and over and over and practicing. Yeah. So it's steady work. It's dedication, perfecting your craft, and making money. So if you're looking for making more money, this one is going to be better than this one. Just the fact that you're making more cash. And if you're looking for steady work, this one over here is going to be better than this one over here. Anyway, so that's obviously more than 10 cards, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. I appreciate you watching so much, and we will see you next. And the rumors are true. Did you know I had a Patreon? A Patreon is where you can support me. If you like the work I do, if you like the things that you see on the channel, consider supporting me. What do you get, you ask? By the way, 51 patrons. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for all of your support. Everybody on screen is a Patreon supporter. Thank you, and thank you again. I cannot tell you how much your support means to me. I greatly appreciate that. Now, why are they there, you ask? Well, you get all the handouts from all of my projects. So if I have a handout for the collabs or the tarot and the seasons, the selling your tarot on Kickstarter, Psychic Fair secrets, all of the handouts, all of the cheat sheets. You get it all, including all of my books that I've written, the TarotOracle's book, Echoes of Nature book, and the upcoming book that I have for the Waterfall Tarot deck. In addition, you get the Fluffy Virgo Lenormand and all the Lenormand cloths are all included. But the best part, one of the best parts as well, is I teach you how to draw. So if you're interested in drawing stuff, if you're interested in getting pet portraits out the window, I teach you secrets on how to do that in like 4 to 5 hours. You can draw the animals you see on the screen. I have secrets to how to do it super quickly. I have super quick method to where everything you see on the screen was done in 4 to 5 hours. What can you do with this? You can go to your local Facebook groups and sell it. You can go on Etsy and sell pet portraits and make some pretty good cash. I mean, on Etsy, just by the way, this is 15 hours, 15 to 20 hours of information and actual instruction. I show you all of the pencils to use, how to use them, all the techniques step by step. Nice, slow manner. And again, this is only 4 hours work. I mean, you see people on Etsy doing realistic pet stuff. They're charging over $100. So, you know, if you're interested in this, if you're interested in cranking this out in like 4 hours, then definitely see my course. My actual pets look better than that. That's kind of, I mean, that was like a 3-hour job there for me. But yeah, the actual pets look better than that. I mean, look at that and compare it to that. I mean, mine look better. I mean, I'm just saying, mine look super realistic, and I only did 4 to 5 hours. Anyway, thank you for supporting and watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, we'll see you next time.